Hey guys, Naruto here, and today I wanted to give you guys a few endgame bow builds for Iceborne to work towards, now that we've overcame our final challenge, in the form of Arch-Tempered Valkana and gotten some of her armor pieces. It's time to max out our builds for both comfort and damage and see just what we're able to get, so if you're ready let's get into the builds. The first set of builds are going to be for general use and made up of the same pieces with the only difference being the element of each bow. You're going to be use the jar bows because they come with their own innate critical element, with Fatalis armor pieces being his chest, gloves and boots, Beta with his alpha waist. Typically this is going to be the common setup for bows, 4 pieces of Fatalis with the additional armor piece being something that can add towards the build's overall damage and comfort. In this case I used Eo's Gamma Helmet that gives you 3 levels of stamina surge. Each bow is different but each build reaches about 40 to 55% affinity without any augments, and because each build gets Agitator 7 they more than make up the affinity needed with Weakness Exploit on weak and tenderized spots to crit. Because the build is for general use I added max constitution to the build, but you can also trade out the double constitution decoration for another spread decoration like this build. The only difference between level 3 and level 5 constitution is that with level 5 you don't have to eat for black belt or drink dash juice. I personally hate having to double tenderize, so I added the new clutch claw boost on all of the bow builds. The next build is a universal build that can be used for all elemental bows that take advantage of coalescence on the new Arch-Tempered Valkana Gamma Helmet. This build is for monsters whose blights you know for sure you're not going to able to avoid, so the buff from coalescence to your raw and elemental damage is guaranteed. You don't lose much to run it, you just lose 1 point of constitution and drop to level 1 stamina surge, but because of the Valkana helmet you gain an extra spread decoration to the build. The Thunderbow already comes with decent innate affinity, so I added attack decorations in place of expert decorations, but if you prefer consistent affinity without having to rely on Agitator, you can replace the attack decorations. Last but not least is the new Raw Bow, which has become the new meta for a lot monsters, coming courtesy of the new Fatalis Vice and Violence Bow. With this build we do what we used to do with the Blast Bow meta, which is build strictly for raw damage and ignore the element. The bow however needs a lot of affinity to work, so of course we run max Agitator, max critical eye and augment completely for affinity. We use Fatalis helmet, chest, gloves and waist with the new Arch-Tempered Valkana boost, mainly due to the 3 levels of peak performance. Now because we're using peak performance as additional raw but we can't particularly maintain it with a health augment, I chose to add free meal to the build as well, because with it you'll not only have a great chance to maintain resources, but you seemingly also have an infinite supply of max potions to always keep your health topped off during a hunt. You don't get too much stamina support skills with only 1 level of stamina surge, but you do still get 4 levels of constitution for decent stamina management. This build is also the reason why there was no Jar Dragon Bow build, because even without critical element and a large amount of dragon element this bow still outdamages the bow, because of the insane raw that the Vice and Violence Bow has. And that's about all the new changes to Iceborne's endgame bow meta. The amount of comfort that we're able to get practically for free while not having to give up nearly any of our DPS only speaks to how far we've come from past bow meta and also the evolution of Iceborne's endgame. It's a real bittersweet feeling, but enough rambling. If you made it this far I would like to thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video please feel free to like and comment, it really helps the channel. But that's all for today hunters, remember to stay classy and to always hunt with style.